watching Capitol View, Sunday morning talk focused on the political scene in Arkansas.
Welcome back to Capitol View. The holiday season is here. Christmas just 19 days away. Hanukkah begins tonight. But a lot of talk this week about an attempt to recognize a different holiday at the state capitol. If one group gets its way, you could see this. The Gay Festivus poll. Joining us to explain for that, joining us from Florida, Chaz Stevens with the Humanity Fund. Welcome to the show.
Happy Festivus to you, sir.
Thanks for joining us. Your motivation for seeking to have this poll put up at the state capitol is what?
It's airing the grievances. Actually, it's a celebration of the Supreme Court's 2015 ruling reaffirming the right that people of the same sex can get married. So we're raising awareness to that. We're having a little fun with it, and we're raising a few dollars. Obviously,
some Seinfeld references going on here, but I wonder, is this a serious attempt to get something you believe in put at the Capitol, or are you trying to poke fun at our state?
A little of both. Your state just recently put up the 10 Commandments on the state property, and you go to your state's Facebook page. It says that the state capitol is a historic or a religious site. So that's a little troublesome to us who believe in the separation of church and state. So perhaps there's a blending of a lot of different issues here. I'm sure that we could talk for hours about things that I find interesting in Arkansas.
There are references to religion at the U.S. Supreme Court. There's references to religion on our money and our Pledge of Allegiance. What is so offensive about having the 10 Commandments on the state capitol grounds, considering that religious life is a part of American life in many ways?
If you consider the idea of separation of church and state, and then you consider those places that don't have it, usually the word caliphate is involved. Usually we're bombing the hell out of them. So the idea of separation of church and state is a pretty good experiment. If we look at the places that don't have that separation, then those aren't places that I think we want to emulate.
Is the state, though, actually forming a state religion, picking one side or the other by having a religious display that was effectively passed by the state legislature? Why is that the state actually picking a religion as opposed to allowing the state representatives to, and the people, in fact, to practice their religion?
There you go. So now you hit that nail on the head. When the United States, the United States court system, excuse me, the federal court systems, the Supreme Court of the United States, they've long established that it's an all or none principle. It's all or none. So if Christianity, which is approximately 70, 75, 80% of America, is allowed in, then the minority. The idea of the Constitution is to protect the minority view, not the majority view, the minority view. The minority view in this case is the Gay Pride Festivus poll. So if one is allowed, then another is allowed. So I'll use your argument. Why are we there? Same reason that your commandments are there.
What about the notion that the 10 Commandments monument went through the state legislature? The elected people of Arkansas voted for it, voted for these legislators who passed this piece of legislation. It was signed by the governor. Is that not a different standard than you know, Chaz Stevens from Florida saying, I want to put up this poll?
It's a beautiful question. I don't obviously vote in Arkansas. I'm not an elected official in Arkansas. However, the rules in Arkansas say that temporary displays, temporary holiday displays, which I think it's a 5-week period between Thanksgiving and Christmas time, those temporary displays are under the control of the Secretary of State and not going through your historical committee. So I'm just playing by the rules. The rules are you send an application in, your Secretary of State approves it or denies it. I'm not sure why he's going to deny it, because on the application there's, here's the thou shall nots, like your 10 Commandments, and nothing that we have in our display seem to us to violate or circumscribe any of those prohibitions. So we're expecting to be approved.
All right. Chaz Stevens from Florida, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Well, we're back to wrap it up after this. You're watching Capitol View on Sunday morning.